The house is finished. The bride price has been offered and accepted. The girl's fecundity has been proved. Thus the feast is arranged and the marriage celebrated. And with this, the dancing begins. An ordered, measured, stately movement back and forth across the village meeting ground. The women separate from the men. And through this magic, they invoke the gods and spirits, nature and the elements, bringing them into harmony for the two who are being joined. He turns away, and she is alone as she knew she would be. Each year, the driving monsoon hurls driftwood on the beach. These gifts of wind and sea are Nukumanu's only source of timber for canoes. Once their only tools were clamshells, ground to an edge with pumice. Today, it's trade store axes. But building techniques have hardly changed, nor the spells pronounced to ward off evil spirits which might turn the timber cross-grained and obdurate. Trading voyages to other islands apart, old Nukumanu was an almost complete economic unit. All their possessions were created from local materials. The meager resources of palm frond and leaf and husk fiber, the vegetable dyes, the colors they somehow won from the land and the lagoon. Within these narrow limits, they turned their everyday articles into objects of dignity and charm. But trade store calico from Hong Kong and cheap implements from Japan are reducing traditional crafts to the status of mere hobbies. Only the functional articles needed for daily survival escape the process, and even nets are nowadays made of nylon in place of coconut fiber cordage that quickly rotted and broke. One day, perhaps, the crafts they still practice may be placed at the service of tourists. The driftwood log which the winds and tides gave Nukumanu is now transformed into seaworthy canoe. Even the magic spell to keep it safe from storms has been pronounced, just as it was in the old days. Launched on the morning tide, the men go in search of the great schools of fish which swim through these warm, clear, tropical waters. At last the quarry is sighted, and now the ambush begins. For scores of trevally and coral trout, tarum and salmon by the hundredweight. attracted by the blood and the shrill fluttering of dying fish, a shark closes in. Here is easy feeding. His brain is small, but there's no limit to his ferocity. Yet the men of Nukumanu can only drive him away. To the fishermen, he's taboo and mustn't be killed. Likewise, they say a shark will kill none of those who belong to the shark totem. But this bargain doesn't preclude a few sharp blows with a canoe paddle. Returning home under sail, the men of Nukumanu refresh themselves with raw flesh, carved from fish that are barely a moment dead. For them, cooked or smoked fish is second best, useful for preserving, but lacking in taste. For the men, the raw flesh, freshly cut, expresses the camaraderie of the day, the pleasures of the hunt, the full-bodied flavour of life itself. When the steamer comes to take away the copra and the young men, it brings the island a shining silver gift from the government in New Guinea, an iron tank to collect rainwater for drinking, when, for the most of their lives, they've drunk only the juice of the coconut. With no receptacles larger than a clamshell, storage was impossible. Now they'll collect the monsoon rains, and soon they'll begin to wonder how they ever managed without their supplies of water. And the distance between their old life and their new will be just that much greater for the innovation. And who will say that the new isn't better? No one except a few of the old ones who might grumble that it isn't better, only different, and that every change brings the breakup of a community a little closer. The overt signs of Western civilization may seem few here, but their effects are potent and destructive of the old life. The school, which the government started in 1962, has given Nukumanu's children only the most rudimentary education, but it's made them ripe for new influences.